We read today from Exodus and chapter 33, beginning at verse 7. Now Moses used to take the tent and pitch it outside the camp, far off from the camp. He called it the tent of meeting. And everyone who sought the Lord would go out to the tent of meeting, which was outside the camp. Whenever Moses went out to the tent, all the people would rise and stand, each of them at the entrance of their tents, and watch Moses until he had gone into the tent. When Moses entered the tent, the pillar of cloud would descend and stand at the entrance of the tent, and the Lord would speak with Moses. When all the people saw the pillar of cloud standing at the entrance of the tent, all the people would rise and bow down, all of them, at the entrance of their tent. Thus the Lord used to speak with Moses, face to face, as one speaks to a friend. Then he would return to the camp, but his young assistant, Joshua, son of Nun, would not leave the tent. There are a couple of things that I would like to draw out of that reading for us today. The first is that there was, for the Israelites, a place where they could meet with God. Moses set up a tent of meeting, a tent for meeting with God. It was open for all to go and find that place where God was, to go and listen to God, to go and hear God speak to them. And I wonder whether we ourselves have a place where we can go and meet with God. I've known of some people who have set up sort of shrines or prayer spaces or something like that in their houses or even in their gardens. Places where they can go and spend time with God. And I wonder whether you have such a place. Do you have a special room in your house where you go to pray? Do you have a special chair or a prayer stool that you use in order to pray, to commune, to meet with God? For some people, there are special places in this world where they feel closer to God. Some folks say that Iona is one such place, or Lindisfarne, or it may be that for others it could be maybe a big cathedral, possibly even a small chapel. A special place where they sometimes go and feel that somehow they are closer to God. It doesn't really matter in some ways what sort of space you have, but it is important that we do take that time to meet with God. For many of us these days, in a world which seems always to be rushing around so quickly, it can be difficult to create space, to find the peace that we need, the peace that we want. So I'd recommend that you don't overstretch yourself if you want to try and start finding that time with God. Start trying to create a place and a space where you can meet with God. Perhaps give yourself a small target to start with. God, I want to spend 5 minutes this week with you. And put that time in your diary. 9 o'clock till 9:05 on Friday evening or Wednesday morning, whatever it might be. but try and start to create that space, that time when you can meet with God. Moses used to take the tent and pitch it outside the camp, far off from the camp. Moses made a space that was some way away from daily living, from the routine, from the norm, the normal. Why not start to create such a space yourself this week? A space where you can be with God. The second small thing, well, maybe it's not a small thing, but the second thing I'd like you to note from that reading today is the very last verse. Thus the Lord used to speak to Moses face to face as one speaks to a friend. Then he would return to the camp. But his young assistant, Joshua, son of Nun, would not leave the tent. Joshua, son of Nun, would not leave the tent of meeting with God. Joshua stayed in the place where people met with God all the time. I wonder what happened to him.